Think back to the early days of the internet. If you wanted to share music or videos, you didn't go to Netflix or Spotify. You went to peer-to-peer platforms like Napster, LimeWire, or BitTorrent. The internet back then felt wild, free, and open. Anyone could upload content and anyone could access it. But over time, that vision of a free internet shifted. Big corporations took over distribution. YouTube, Netflix, and Apple built massive platforms. Yes, they made content easier to consume, but they also introduced gatekeepers. Now creators have to hand over a cut of their earnings, advertisers control what gets visibility, and users rarely own the content they buy or stream. The promise of an open internet gave way to centralized control. Founded in 2017, Tron set out with a bold mission: to bring back the decentralized internet. Its goal wasn't just to be another blockchain, but to become the foundation for digital content, movies, music, games, and even stablecoin payments. In a system where creators and users connect directly without middlemen. Tron's vision is a simple idea. If you can remove intermediaries, you can give power back to the people who create and consume content. Imagine a musician publishing their work directly to a global audience without Spotify taking a cut. Imagine sending stablecoins across borders instantly with almost no fees. Imagine an internet where your data, your money, and your media flow freely without being filtered through corporations. Of course, Tron's story isn't just about lofty goals. It's also about controversy, persistence, and real adoption. Its founder, Justin Sun, is one of the most polarizing figures in crypto, hailed by some as a visionary and criticized by others as a relentless marketer. The project itself faced skepticism in its early days, accused of copying Ethereum's playbook and making promises too big to deliver. Yet, despite all of that, Tron has become one of the most used blockchains in the world, especially for stablecoin transactions. Today, Tron handles more USDT transfers than any other chain, moving billions of dollars across borders daily. Its ecosystem of DeFi apps, its integration with BitTorrent, and its governance experiments through the Tron DAO have all made it impossible to ignore. Whether you love it or hate it, Tron is proof that adoption sometimes matters more than perception. We're going to explore Tron in depth. We'll start with its origins and the story of Justin Sun. Then we'll look at its technology, how it achieves fast, cheap transactions using delegated proof of stake. We'll dive into the ecosystem from DeFi and NFTs to stablecoins and BitTorrent. We'll examine the TRX token, how it powers the system, and what role it plays in governance and payments. And finally, we'll face the tough part: the controversies and challenges Tron has had to overcome, and what its future might look like. By the end, you'll see Tron for what it really is. Not just another blockchain project, but a bold attempt to rewrite the rules of how we share, pay, and create on the internet. Some see it as overhyped, others see it as underrated. But one thing is clear: Tron has carved out a place in the crypto world that can't be ignored. Tron's starts with its founder, Justin Sun. If there's one figure who embodies both the ambition and the controversy of Tron, it's him. Charismatic, relentless in self-promotion, and never afraid of the spotlight, Sun positioned himself as a kind of crypto showman, and Tron as his stage. Tron was founded in 2017 during one of crypto's biggest boom periods. Initial coin offerings, ICOs, were everywhere, and Tron rode that wave, raising over $70 million. The project was headquartered in Singapore under the Tron Foundation, and from the start, its mission was clear: build a decentralized internet where content creators and users connect directly. In other words, cut out the middlemen, the YouTubes, Spotifys, and Apples of the world. The vision resonated with people who remembered the early open days of the internet. It also tapped into a frustration many creators still feel today: too many fees, too much censorship, too little control. Tron promised an ecosystem where creators would own their content and users would get cheaper, faster access. Justin Sun's personality played a huge role in Tron's early rise. Already known in China's tech scene, he had worked with Ripple as its chief representative for Greater China. Sun knew how to market an idea. He built hype through social media, bold claims, and high-profile moves, like winning a $4.6 million charity lunch with Warren Buffett to bring crypto into mainstream conversation. But Tron's beginnings weren't without drama. Its white paper was accused of plagiarizing parts of Ethereum and IPFS documents, which fueled criticism that the project was more marketing than substance. Many dismissed Tron as another flashy ICO with little to offer beyond hype. Yet Tron didn't fade away. Instead, it doubled down. In 2018, the Tron Foundation made a bold move by acquiring BitTorrent, the legendary peer-to-peer file-sharing platform with over 100 million active users at the time. BitTorrent represented the spirit of decentralization and file sharing, and now it was part of Tron's ecosystem. This gave Tron instant credibility and a massive potential user base. Over the years, Tron kept building. Its mainnet launched in mid-2018, migrating TRX from Ethereum's ERC20 standard to its own blockchain. From that moment, Tron wasn't just an idea riding on Ethereum's rails. It was a fully independent chain with its own consensus mechanism, staking system, and token economy. In many ways, Tron's origin story is one of contradiction. On the one hand, it was criticized for hype and plagiarism. On the other, it made bold, strategic moves, like acquiring BitTorrent, that aligned with its vision of a decentralized internet. And at the center of it all was Justin Sun, whose relentless drive and larger-than-life persona made sure Tron never left the headlines. Love him or hate him, you can't separate Tron from its founder. And you can't understand Tron's evolution without recognizing how it turned skepticism into persistence and controversy into momentum. Tron's technology is designed around one big promise: make blockchain fast, cheap, and practical for everyday use. To do that, Tron doesn't reinvent the wheel entirely, but it does make some key choices that set it apart from older blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. At the core of Tron is a system called Delegated Proof of Stake. Unlike Bitcoin's energy-heavy mining or Ethereum's thousands of validators, Tron relies on 27 super representatives. These SRs are elected by TRX holders through staking and voting. They take turns producing blocks, validating transactions, and securing the network. The result? Transactions are confirmed in seconds and fees are extremely low. Tron can handle 2,000 plus transactions per second in practice, far more than Ethereum's base layer. This makes Tron especially useful for high-volume activity like stablecoin transfers or microtransactions. The trade-off, of course, is centralization. With only 27 block producers at any time, critics argue Tron is less decentralized than Ethereum or Bitcoin. Supporters respond that DPoS is more democratic because token holders vote for representatives, and the system ensures speed and efficiency. Tron isn't just a payment rail. It also runs smart contract self-executing code that powers decentralized applications. Its Tron virtual machine is compatible with Ethereum's EVM, which means developers can easily port apps from Ethereum to Tron with little modification. This compatibility has helped Tron attract DeFi and NFT projects without making developers start from scratch. One of Tron's more unique design features is its resource model. Instead of paying gas fees for every transaction, users consume two resources: bandwidth for sending data, and energy for executing smart contracts. TRX holders can freeze their tokens to receive free daily bandwidth and energy, making regular usage nearly free. For users who want to avoid high costs, this is a huge advantage compared to Ethereum's often unpredictable gas fees. After acquiring BitTorrent in 2018, Tron integrated it into its ecosystem. BitTorrent token was launched to incentivize peer-to-peer file sharing, creating a bridge between blockchain and traditional P2P networks. Later, Tron introduced BitTorrent Chain, a cross-chain scaling solution that connects Tron with Ethereum and Binance Chain. This move signaled Tron's ambition to be more than just a single chain. It wants to be part of a broader, interconnected Web3 infrastructure. In practice, Tron's architecture has paid off in adoption. Its low fees and high throughput made it the blockchain of choice for USDT transfers. Today, more than half of all USDT transactions globally happen on Tron, moving billions of dollars daily. That dominance in stablecoins is one of Tron's biggest technical and economic achievements. Of course, the design isn't flawless. Centralization concerns remain, and Tron's reliance on a small number of super representatives makes it vulnerable to criticism. But for users who care about speed, cost, and convenience, Tron's architecture has delivered on its core promise. In short, Tron is built for scale and usability. It may not be the most decentralized chain, but it's one of the most efficient, and that's why so much real-world activity now runs through it. A blockchain's strength isn't just in its code, it's in what people build on top of it. Over the years, Tron has quietly grown into one of the busiest ecosystems in crypto, with activity spanning finance, entertainment, stablecoins, and beyond. DeFi is one of Tron's biggest areas of growth. Protocols like JustLend, JustStable, and SunSwap make it possible to lend, borrow, trade, and earn interest directly on-chain. While Ethereum often gets the spotlight in DeFi innovation, Tron has carved out its niche by focusing on accessibility, extremely low fees, and high transaction throughput. This makes DeFi tools on Tron attractive to users who might be priced out elsewhere. If there's one crown jewel in Tron's ecosystem, it's Tether, USDT. More than half of all USDT, the world's most widely used stablecoin, flows across the Tron network. Billions of dollars move daily on Tron because of its low-cost, instant transactions. For many users in regions like Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia, Tron has become the go-to network for remittances, cross-border payments, and everyday transactions using stablecoins. This dominance in stablecoins isn't just a side effect. It's a sign that Tron has found real product-market fit. While other chains battle for DeFi dominance or NFT hype, Tron quietly became the backbone for global stablecoin transfers. The 2018 acquisition of BitTorrent gave Tron more than just a famous brand. It provided access to over 100 million users worldwide. With BitTorrent token, Tron tried to integrate blockchain incentives into file sharing, rewarding users for seeding and distributing files. While adoption of BTT has been mixed, the vision remains clear. Use Tron to power a decentralized content sharing economy. Tron has also dipped into NFTs and gaming, though not as explosively as Solana or Ethereum. Projects like Ape NFT Marketplace aim to bring art and collectibles to the Tron ecosystem. Gaming integrations have been slower, but with Tron's cheap transactions, the potential for blockchain-based games is there. In 2021, Tron announced that the Tron Foundation was being dissolved, and governance would shift to a Tron DAO. The idea was to make the network more community-driven, with TRX holders having more say in decisions. While skeptics argue that Justin Sun still plays an outsized role, the move aligns with Tron's broader narrative of decentralization and community ownership. Beyond DeFi and NFTs, Tron is finding traction in real-world payments. Businesses and individuals in emerging markets use it for sending stablecoins cheaply across borders. In many ways, Tron has become a financial lifeline, a kind of invisible payments rail used daily by people far from the headlines of crypto Twitter. Tron's ecosystem may not always grab attention like Ethereum's flashy upgrades or Solana's fast-growing NFT scene, but quietly, steadily, it has built a network that moves billions of dollars, serves millions of users, and keeps expanding into new areas. TRX, the native token that powers everything. Like ETH on Ethereum or SOL on Solana, TRX isn't just a speculative asset, it's the fuel that makes the system run. To understand Tron, you need to understand what TRX does and why it matters. Every action on Tron, whether it's sending tokens, running a smart contract, or minting NFTs, requires TRX. But unlike Ethereum's gas fees, which can swing wildly, Tron uses a unique resource model built around bandwidth and energy. Bandwidth covers basic transaction data. Energy is consumed when executing smart contracts. Users can pay with TRX directly, or they can freeze their TRX to gain daily free allocations of bandwidth and energy. This makes transactions nearly free for regular users and keeps costs predictable. For many, especially those using Tron for stablecoin transfers, this model is one of the main reasons they prefer it over Ethereum. Tron's delegated proof-of-stake system means that TRX isn't just for payments, it's also the key to governance. By freezing TRX, holders can vote for super representatives, the 27 block producers who validate transactions and secure the network. In return, voters earn rewards. This staking model turns TRX into a governance token. Every TRX holder has a voice in choosing who secures the chain, and super representatives have strong incentives to maintain trust and performance because their position depends on the community's votes. TRX also plays an important role in Tron's DeFi landscape. On protocols like JustLend or JustStable, TRX can be used as collateral for loans or to mint stablecoins. This gives TRX practical utility beyond speculation. It becomes a productive asset that can generate yield or be leveraged for liquidity. TRX launched with a total supply of 100 billion tokens. Unlike Bitcoin, which has a fixed cap, TRX does not have a maximum supply limit. Instead, it relies on economic design and usage demand to create balance. Some TRX is burned as part of transaction fees, which introduces deflationary pressure. But with such a large supply, TRX's value has always been tied more to adoption and usage than scarcity. Perhaps the most overlooked role of TRX is in global payments. While USDT dominates stablecoin transfers on Tron, TRX acts as the gateway asset. Every transaction consumes TRX in some form. This makes TRX the backbone of what has quietly become one of the world's most used payment rails for digital dollars. In short, TRX is more than a ticker symbol. It's the utility token that secures the network, pays for its operations, and ties the ecosystem together. Without TRX, Tron's system of low fees, fast transactions, and delegated governance wouldn't function. For all its growth and adoption, Tron has never escaped controversy. In fact, some would say its story is as much about resilience through criticism as it is about technology. To understand Tron fully, we need to look at the challenges it has faced. The most common critique of Tron is that it isn't truly decentralized. With only 27 super representatives producing blocks at any time, control is concentrated compared to Ethereum's thousands of validators. Critics argue that this small group of SRs can collude or be influenced, undermining the principle of decentralization. Supporters respond that the election process keeps SRs accountable, and the trade-off enables Tron's speed and efficiency. Still, this debate remains at the center of Tron's identity. Back in 2017, Tron's white paper was accused of copying sections from Ethereum and IPFS documents without proper attribution. This early scandal cast doubt on the project's originality. Although the team later updated the documents, the plagiarism controversy has followed Tron's reputation for years, reinforcing perceptions that its growth was built on marketing rather than innovation. Tron's founder, Justin Sun, is one of the most polarizing figures in crypto. His relentless self-promotion, from high-profile acquisitions to the famous $4, $6 million Warren Buffett lunch, has drawn both admiration and ridicule. Some see him as a bold entrepreneur who brought attention to Tron and crypto adoption in Asia. Others see him as a hype man who often overpromises. Regardless, his personality has kept Tron constantly in the headlines, for better or worse. Like many crypto projects, Tron has faced regulatory scrutiny. In March 2023, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charged Justin Sun and the Tron Foundation with allegations of unregistered securities offerings and market manipulation related to TRX and BTT. While legal battles are ongoing, such cases highlight the risks that regulatory bodies pose to Tron's long-term global expansion. Tron isn't alone in chasing fast, cheap blockchain transactions. Ethereum continues to evolve with rollups and sharding. Solana, Avalanche, and BNB Chain all offer high-speed alternatives. Even newer chains like Aptos and Sui target the same space with fresh designs. To stay relevant, Tron has to continually prove why users and developers should choose it over these competitors. Another challenge is perception. For years, Tron has been dismissed by parts of the crypto community as hype-driven or just Justin Sun's project. Yet, the reality is that Tron consistently ranks among the top blockchains in daily transactions, stablecoin usage, and active wallets. The gap between reputation and real-world adoption remains one of Tron's paradoxes. Despite all of these controversies, Tron has endured. It hasn't collapsed like many ICO-era projects. It hasn't faded into irrelevance. Instead, it continues to grow in usage, especially in stablecoin transfers, proving that adoption can sometimes matter more than image. Tron's journey is a reminder that in crypto, perception and reality don't always align. On one side, the project has been dogged by controversy, from white paper plagiarism accusations to questions about centralization, to the polarizing presence of its founder, Justin Sun. On the other side, the numbers don't lie. Tron is one of the most heavily used blockchains in the world, moving billions of dollars in stablecoins every single day. Tron entered a crowded and noisy crypto market. Thousands of ICOs promised to change the world, but most of them faded into obscurity. Tron didn't. It built, it adapted, and it captured a very real use case: fast, cheap, global payments. That's why Tether chose Tron as its dominant chain, and why ordinary people across Asia, Africa, and Latin America use Tron daily, often without ever thinking of themselves as crypto users. For them, it's just the easiest way to move money. Justin Sun is impossible to ignore. He's been called everything from a visionary entrepreneur to a master marketer. He thrives in the spotlight, often blending bold ambition with controversy. While his style may not sit well with everyone, it's clear that his relentless drive has kept Tron alive and relevant when many other projects from the same era disappeared. In many ways, Tron's persistence mirrors Sun's own persistence. Technically, Tron's choice of delegated proof of stake gave it an edge in speed and scalability. With thousands of transactions per second and nearly free fees, Tron delivers a user experience that many other chains still struggle to match. Its resource model of bandwidth and energy makes sense for everyday usage, keeping costs predictable and accessible. The controversies, the plagiarism claims, the SEC lawsuits, the centralization debates will continue to shadow Tron, but adoption speaks louder than criticism. Today, Tron isn't just surviving, it's thriving as one of the main backbones of the global stablecoin economy.